far beyond the familiar stars of the Milky Way, where the cold emptiness of space stretched endlessly. A new shadow appeared on the horizon, a massive warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen before. This was the Dreadnought, humanity's greatest creation, the crown jewel of a renewed Earth fleet determined to take its place among the stars with a force that no one could ignore. It emerged suddenly, as if from the darkness itself, catching many alien civilizations off guard. The ship's hull gleamed with strange metals that shimmered under the distant light of dying suns, and its silhouette was a dark promise of power and precision. Inside the Dreadnought, thousands of crew members prepared quietly, their faces reflecting determination, a fierce loyalty to Earth burning in their eyes. For years, humanity had watched and waited, learning from past conflicts and mistakes, and now they were ready. The warship moved steadily toward the edge of the Milky Way, a place where many alien empires had grown complacent, ruling vast territories with little fear of challenge. As news of the Dreadnought's approach spread, panic and whispers raced through communication networks across countless star systems. Some called it a warning, others a threat, but all agreed that humanity had returned with a force no one could underestimate. The aliens spoke of humanity's tenacity, the way they refused to bow or negotiate when faced with threats. Stories from distant colonies told of human pilots who faced impossible odds with fearless courage, and engineers who pushed technology beyond limits, thought unbreakable. Rumors grew like wildfire, tales of weapons so advanced that enemy fleets shattered before they could respond, and shields that seemed to absorb every strike without faltering. Yet no one had actually seen the Dreadnought in battle. For now, it was a looming mystery, a shadow on the edge of the known galaxy. Leaders of the great empires called emergency meetings, sending fleets to investigate, but the ship moved with uncanny speed and silence, always one step ahead. The air was thick with tension. Spies reported strange signals emanating from the Dreadnought, communications encoded beyond any known code, hinting at secrets even the most skilled analysts could not unravel. Scientists speculated about new energy sources powering its engines, while military strategists debated how to counter a force so unpredictable and ruthless. The Dreadnought seemed less like a ship and more like a living weapon, shaped by humanity's unbreakable will to survive and dominate when necessary. As it crossed into contested space, small patrols sent to confront it found themselves overwhelmed or simply disappearing without a trace. This only fueled the legends. Some believed the warship had technology that could bend the very laws of physics, while others whispered that its crew were selected from the toughest, most skilled warriors Earth had ever produced, trained for a mission beyond simple conquest, a mission to rewrite the galaxy's balance of power. Even among humans, the warship was a symbol of hope and fear. Some called it humanity's ultimate protector, a guardian that would ensure Earth's survival. In a universe that had often been cruel and unforgiving, others worried about the price of such power. What cost might come if the Dreadnought ever fell into the wrong hands, or if its mission went too far. Yet, as the ship moved steadily onward, there was no turning back. It was clear that humanity would no longer hide or wait. The arrival of the Dreadnought marked a new chapter, one where Earth's legacy would be written in stars through conflict and courage alike. For those watching from the safety of their worlds, the question was no longer if humanity would change the galaxy, but how and when. Every eye in the universe now turned toward the approaching warship, waiting, wondering, fearing what would come next. The Dreadnought was not just a ship. It was a message, a warning that humanity had awakened and it would not be ignored. The vastness of space suddenly became a battlefield as the Dreadnought entered the territory of the Vexari Empire, a fierce coalition known throughout the galaxy for its relentless conquests and brutal efficiency. The Vexari had ruled many star systems with iron claws, their fleets feared for their numbers and deadly weaponry. Confident in their strength, the Vexari commanders believed the humans were just another primitive race, unprepared for the realities of galactic warfare. They gathered an enormous fleet, ready to crush the intruder swiftly and decisively, underestimating the true power of the Dreadnought and its crew. As the first ships of the Vexari fleet approached, the Dreadnought remained silent, almost patient, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then, without warning, the warship's weapons erupted in a storm of light and fire. Energy beams cut through the void with deadly accuracy, targeting command ships and power cores. The dreadnoughts' fire was surgical. Every shot was calculated to cripple and confuse rather than waste ammunition on endless destruction. The alien vessels found themselves unable to mount a proper defense. The humans moved quickly, changing their tactics with every moment, adapting to enemy maneuvers as if they could anticipate them before they happened. The battle raged with brutal intensity, starships exploding like fireworks in the darkness. Vexari pilots fought desperately, but the dreadnoughts' shields absorbed the relentless enemy strikes with little damage. Human fighters darted between the larger ships, their agile craft striking vulnerable points and retreating before retaliation. The warship's crew worked as one, a flawless machine powered by discipline, training, and a deep belief in their mission. The Vexari commanders, shocked by the unexpected resistance, struggled to coordinate their attacks, their fleet falling into chaos as their forces were torn apart. Reports from surviving Vexari ships spoke in hushed tones about the humans' relentless spirit, their willingness to fight without hesitation, even when facing impossible odds. Many spoke of how the dreadnought seemed more than just a ship, almost a living force that could anticipate moves and strike before threats even appeared. As the battle wore on, the scale of destruction grew. Entire squadrons of Vexari ships vanished in bursts of flame and metal. The dreadnought moved forward, like a hammer crushing the Empire's defenses, dismantling the Vexari fleet piece by piece. For the first time in centuries, the Vexari Empire faced an enemy that matched their ruthlessness and power, and it shook the foundations of their confidence. Even in retreat, the aliens carried stories of this terrifying encounter. Stories of how humanity's warship tore through their lines without mercy or hesitation. The survivors whispered of human crews who never gave up, who fought with courage that seemed to come from something deeper than strategy or technology. They spoke of a force awakened, a power that challenged the established order of the galaxy itself. As the smoke cleared and the last of the Vexari ships fled, the dreadnought stood alone in the darkness, a symbol of humanity's arrival as a dominant force. The battle was just the beginning, but it had sent a clear message. Humans would not be ignored, and their warship was a nightmare that even the most powerful empires had to reckon with. The galaxy watched in stunned silence, waiting for the next move, as legends began to grow around the fearless crew and their unstoppable ship. The clash of titans had changed everything, and no one could say what would come next. The news of the dreadnought's overwhelming victory against the Vexari fleet spread like wildfire across the neighboring empires, igniting fear and uncertainty in hearts that had never known defeat. Among those watching closely was the Zarthu Dominion, a powerful and ancient force that had long ruled vast star systems with a strict and unyielding grip. The Zarthu, known for their well-organized fleets and advanced defenses, quickly realized that they could no longer ignore the rising threat from humanity. Determined not to share the fate of the Vexari, the Dominion mobilized its vast armadas, calling upon every available ship and soldier to prepare for the coming storm. Yet even as the Zarthu forces gathered and prepared for what they believed would be a decisive battle, the dreadnought moved faster and smarter than anyone expected. Employing advanced stealth technology that cloaked it from enemy sensors, the warship slipped silently through the shadows of space unseen and unheard. The humans used electromagnetic warfare to disrupt communications and disable critical systems aboard the Zarthu vessels, turning what should have been a coordinated defense into a disorganized and desperate scramble. One by one, key stations and command centers were sabotaged without the enemy realizing where the attacks originated. The dreadnought struck precisely and ruthlessly, disabling entire fleets before they could even lift their weapons in defense. In a display of strategic brilliance and unyielding will, the human warship tore through the Dominion's forces, leaving star systems once proud under Zarthu rule in smoldering ruin. Planets that had resisted humanity's advance faced overwhelming force, their defenses crushed under the relentless pressure of the dreadnought's assault. The destruction was swift and unrelenting, but it was not mindless violence. Behind the warship's power was humanity's deep determination to protect their home and their ideals. For centuries, Earth had endured hardships and threats, watching empires rise and fall from afar. Now, with the dreadnought, humanity was making its stand, not to conquer for greed or glory, but to ensure that no force would ever threaten their freedom again. The humans knew that change would not come without sacrifice. They understood that to secure a future for themselves and their allies, ancient regimes would have to fall. The ruins left in the wake of the dreadnought were proof of a galaxy reshaping, itself under the pressure of human resolve. Still, even as entire star systems lay in devastation, whispers spread among the surviving populations. Some feared the humans as destroyers, while others saw them as liberators, breaking the chains of tyrants who had ruled for too long. The dreadnought's legacy was not just destruction, it was a call to all those who yearned for change, a warning that the old ways could not stand forever. Despite the chaos and loss, the human crew remained steadfast, focused on the mission that had brought them this far. They pushed forward with a quiet confidence, knowing that each victory was a step toward a galaxy where humanity and its allies could thrive in peace. But the humans also understood the dangers ahead, that each empire toppled could bring new challenges, new enemies, and new battles. The warship, a symbol of humanity's strength and unyielding spirit, was both a shield and a sword in this fight for survival and justice. As the dreadnought prepared for its next move, it was clear that the age of old empires was ending, and a new chapter was beginning, one written by a people who refused to be broken, who wielded technology and courage to turn empires to ruins, and who dreamed of a galaxy where freedom would finally reign. After the shattering battles and the ruin of empires, the galaxy found itself at a crossroads. Alien factions that once fought bitter wars now faced a new reality. Humanity's dreadnought was not just a weapon of destruction, but a symbol of power mixed with honor and determination. These factions, some longtime enemies, began to see the humans in a new light. The warship's relentless tactics and unexpected victories forced many leaders to reconsider their stance. Could humanity be a threat to their existence? Or might they become a crucial ally in a universe that suddenly felt unstable and dangerous? This question led to cautious conversations behind closed doors. Representatives from different species reached out, hoping to understand humanity's intentions better. There was a shared curiosity about the people who had managed to bring down mighty empires, and yet seemed willing to talk of peace and progress, rather than endless war. The dreadnought became a meeting place, its vast corridors filled with diplomats, strategists, and warriors from across the stars. The humans aboard it showed a careful balance of strength and wisdom, demonstrating that power alone was not enough to survive the shifting tides of the galaxy. Negotiations were difficult and tense. Old grudges and mistrust ran deep among the alien factions. Some saw humanity's rise as a chance to protect their own people by aligning with a force that had proven unstoppable. Others worried that any alliance might come at too high a cost, fearing humans might demand too much or use their strength to dominate once again. But the humans listened closely, reminding everyone that true strength was not in conquest alone, but in cooperation and shared goals. Slowly, a new coalition began to take shape, built on mutual respect rather than fear. This alliance brought together species that had never imagined working together before, united by a desire for stability and a hope for peace. The leadership aboard the dreadnought led these efforts with quiet confidence, negotiating firm but fair agreements. They understood that trust could not be rushed and that the future depended on more than just military might. It required understanding, compromise, and vision. The humans also shared their own stories, of a home planet that had survived wars, disasters, and endless challenges, shaping a culture that valued courage, resilience, and the protection of freedom. Their example inspired many to believe that the galaxy could be a place where different worlds and peoples lived not just side by side, but truly together. Yet beneath the talks of alliance and hope, there remained a sense of tension. The galaxy was still a dangerous place, full of unknown threats and ancient rivalries that could flare up again at any moment. The dreadnought stood ready, a powerful, guardian and a reminder that peace would be defended with strength if necessary. The new alliance was not a promise of easy days ahead, but a beginning, a chance for the galaxy to move forward in a way that had never been possible before. As representatives returned to their home systems with news of the coalition, a cautious optimism spread. Many worlds began to prepare for this new era, building ties and sharing knowledge to support one another. The dreadnought itself continued, its patrols, both a symbol and a tool of this evolving peace, ensuring that the fragile balance held firm. Humanity's role had changed from feared invader to respected leader, and the crew of the warship carried the weight of this responsibility with pride and humility. In the quiet moments between missions, the humans looked out at the stars, knowing that their journey was far from over. But for the first time, the future seemed a little brighter, shaped by strength, guided by wisdom, and a hope that even the most unlikely alliances could lead to lasting peace. After years of conflict, battle, and uneasy alliances, the galaxy stood transformed. The once mighty empires, shattered or now bound by new agreements, had bowed to a power unlike any before, humanity and their mighty warship, the Dreadnought. This colossal vessel no longer simply represented destruction or war. It had become a beacon of hope and a symbol of unwavering resolve for countless civilizations scattered across the stars. Tales of its victories and the bravery of its crew were told in hushed voices around distant campfires, in grand halls of alien rulers, and among children dreaming of a brighter future. The Dreadnought sailed through the cosmos with a quiet dignity, a floating monument to what could be achieved when courage met determination. Behind the impressive firepower and technology was a deeper purpose, humanity's desire not just to conquer or dominate, but to protect what was precious and rebuild what was broken. The warship became the core of a coalition united not by fear but by respect and shared goals. Humans and their alien allies began to work side by side to restore star systems left in ruin, to heal planets scarred by battles, and to open new paths for trade, culture, and peace. Where once there were empty worlds, communities rose again, fueled by hope and cooperation. Scientists and engineers from different species exchanged knowledge, unlocking new advancements that pushed the boundaries of exploration and understanding. Diplomats crafted treaties that promised protection and friendship, ensuring that old rivalries would not easily flare into war. The Dreadnought's crew, seasoned by countless battles and trials, took on new roles as protectors and guides, their experience invaluable in this fragile time of rebuilding. Yet even as the galaxy healed, the presence of the Dreadnought reminded everyone that peace was fragile and must be guarded carefully. Its immense power was a deterrent against those who might seek to disrupt the fragile order, a constant reminder that humanity's strength was not to be challenged lightly. But humanity also showed through actions, not just weapons, that true power lay in unity and courage, not in destruction alone. As the warship glided silently through starry voids, it carried with it the dreams of a future where many worlds could thrive together. The Dreadnought's legacy was no longer just a story of war, but a promise that even the darkest times could give way to hope. From distant colonies to the capital worlds of former empires, statues and monuments rose to honor the peacekeepers and the fearless crew of the great warship. Generations who had never known war learned about the sacrifices made and the lessons hard-won in the fires of battle. Children grew up hearing stories of human courage and the belief that no challenge was too great when faced together. As the galaxy expanded, new frontiers beckoned, uncharted star systems filled with mystery and potential. The Dreadnought was ready, not as a weapon of war, but as a guardian of exploration and peace. Its crew trained new generations, teaching them that strength was most valuable when paired with wisdom and compassion. The horizon of this new era stretched wide and promising, a vast canvas upon which humanity and its allies would write their shared destiny. The stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging a future shaped not by fear or domination, but by cooperation and hope. In this unfolding story, humanity had proven a vital truth, that the greatest power is not the ability to destroy, but the courage to protect and the strength to unite. The Dreadnought sailed on, a legend written in light and steel, a symbol forever etched in the fabric of the galaxy, inspiring all who gazed upward to dream bigger, reach further, and believe that together they could shape the stars.